Good evening, Nick.
Good evening, lads.
Good evening, everyone listening.
Welcome to Two Taffs in a Pod.
Yep. How are you, Nick? Anyway, how's things? How's your week been?
Yeah, my week's been pretty quiet this week. It's my wife's 50th birthday next week, so we've been trying to plan. Yeah, fairly quiet week. Kids are off school, so I'm on hand. A dad taxi. We're off to gonna go to Thorpe Park tomorrow and ride some roller coaster. Me and the kids.
Lovely.
And
I've never been there. I don't think I've ever been to Thorpe Park.
It's only down the road from us in Surrey. It's not far. But yeah, just planning the wife. We're off to Corsica again. We're going away to France to Corsica. Don't know if you've been.
Oh, lovely. How long are you away for? Which means we're gonna have a gap in the podcast year as well. By the way, you know that, don't you?
We will have a gap, but that's all right. Right, we've got fucking fighting to get on. What have you been up to?
Yeah, same like you, mate. Bit of a quiet one. You know, you've put me onto a lot of good television, I've got to say, Nick. Some of your recommendations, and I watched. And I'm kicking myself on this one. I don't know how I must have seen it before, but you told me to watch this. In the Name of the Father.
Well, that brings us on. Should we save that goods of talk?
Yeah.
Well, I'm showing Mark in here.
Yeah, we have Mark Sheppard joining us, who's got an incredible resume. Obviously, in the background, we've got Supernatural posters. Obviously, a bit of a big giveaway there. Name of the Father as well. The Name of the Father as well.
Man, we'll get into his juicy career. Well, Mark, good evening.
Good evening, my friends.
Good evening, Mark.
How are the Taffia doing?
The Taffia is strong. Where are you now? Were you in LA?
Been in LA for 40 years.
Oh, wow.
LA right now?
Yeah.
Nice.
At home.
So, Lates, do you want to kick this one off? Because actually, I tell you what, can I just do one thing? Can I?
Yes. This is your thing, Nick. Yes.
Mark,
Yeah.
I've missed you.
I missed you too, man. We had a fun time.
This is going to sound really weird, and I've tried over the years on various occasions. It's never gone anywhere. I've not known how to get hold of you, but I've genuinely through the years I've thought about you quite a lot. I missed you. I really have missed you. I've thought about you so much.
Well, apparently the therapy's helping you, so that's good.
What therapy? My one?
Yes, for missing me so badly over all these years.
I don't know why. I mean, you're.
I'll tell you, it's a weird thing. You go to make a film, and there's a couple of aspects of going to make a film. One, you got a job. Thank God you got a job. You're getting paid. You're doing it. You look at the content and you go, wow, this could be really cool. This could be fun. And you don't know really who you're going to be with. You kind of find that out as you're going along. And then you've got to deal with the vagaries of it, all the individuals, let alone the director and the producers and everything else, and the location and where you are, etc. And you're trying to find that sort of home feel.
Yeah.
So you can be comfortable and do your job and get into what you're doing, and how far can you take this, and how much, how much energy is this going to take? Where are you? What's going on, etc. And occasionally you stumble into it and there's a little chaos going on. And when we were making this film, which we did with Wesley, there was actually a lot of chaos going on, but it didn't affect us. It didn't affect the core people. Technically, the Brits, the Welsh and the Irish that were in there didn't give a damn about what was actually happening with the chaos around them. And it became an even tighter group as a result. And my friend Richard Spate, who you got hold of, who was in Band of Brothers with you. And that's the other kind of experience where you're all in it together and everybody's fighting in the same direction and everybody's trying to make something so special, and you get an end result that's that. And I remember I was talking to Kim Coates. Remember Kim?
Yeah.
Right?
Are you still in touch with Kim?
Yeah, I stay in touch with Kim intermittently. I'm old, so time goes by a little differently for me. But so I called Kim. He goes, "Have you seen the film?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Did they cut out the crazy people?" Which makes sense if you watch the film. I went, "Yep." He goes, "Yeah, I'm not watching it." Which is the best. So when you go into a labor of love and you do your best and you work your ass off, and they can still screw it up for you.
I mean, I want to come back to this because I don't know if Leighton knows how we know each other. So me and Mark did a film in 2004, I think it was. We did this snug area, and it was pretty early days of Bulgaria. And when you shoot in Bulgaria nowadays, they've got like state of the art sound stages, kits, big backlot when you shoot Bulgaria there. But when we shot there, it was pretty much the very early days, I think, of big features with budgets going to Bulgaria, and it was a bit of Wild West, wasn't it, Mark?
Weirdly, I know this isn't your experience, but I'd actually made 2 or 3 films in Bulgaria before that.
Had you?
Oh.
And it was even weirder and smaller. All went in. And it was just this idea of spending 20 million, most of it on people, I guess, in a country that had never done a 60 million, 80 million budget movie.
Yeah.
And they kind of didn't know what to do with it because they could build stuff cheaper and they could do it. My favorite thing of the whole thing is where you and I met was they built a diner.
Mm-hmm.
They built a diner on a crossroads in town. And it was so authentic. It was just made of wooden bits and whatever. They built it so well. There was 150 applications for work at that diner. But it was just this, you know, this thing. I don't know, probably still there now in Bulgaria, but they probably owned it as a shop. But
it was so the plot where it was built on is now where the Kim Hotel is.
really,
Was called something else, and it's a brilliant hotel, and I've stayed there, and it's great. But as you go in the revolving doors, there's signs saying no guns. It's just
I got stories about that place.
area. I've had great shooting experiences there. They're brilliant people.
Absolutely.
Great place to shoot. Back then, it was an eye opener for me. 2004, sort of fresh off the back of Band of Brothers and Touching the Void, and I thought I was a bit of a big cheese. I was probably a pain in the ass at times.
Not at all. You were wonderful, man. You loved it as much as I did, and that was the bottom line. Is when you come out of something like Band of Brothers, and you come out of that camaraderie and that ethic for work, and you come into a, with all due respect, a shit show in many, many ways. The passion comes off as intense, but you know, all we did was piss off Mr. Wilson. That's all that happened. We were fine. Yeah. I love him dearly, but he was like, he couldn't understand why we actually gave a damn every minute of every day of every second. We were always trying to do something better. We were always, because you and I both started in somewhat high profile, very intense working scenarios, and the play is the thing. We cared, and don't ever misread exuberance and passion for being a pain in the ass. That's a very English disease. That is, you can't do that as a Welshman.
Do you think with that then, Mark, with having that passion can drive the performance of those around you up a level or two and really turn into something special, or like you said, become, look at you as having an ego?
No, dude, it's so simple. I mean, Maddie Ryan's a buddy of mine, right? I've known Maddie for years, right? There's so many good English and Irish actors that I know that are Emmett Scanlon, all those guys, they're all kicking ass. And the reason why they're kicking ass is not just because they're talented bastards, and they all are, which is excruciating sometimes how good they are, is that nothing gets in the way of the passion. Nothing. Yeah. It's like going to Cardiff Arms Park and hearing metal.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like literally you go, oh shit, the whole country can sing. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's and that has gone a lot by the wayside in the context of being a star. We've always had those people. We've always had those, but Instagram and quick fame, everything from Page 6 in America to TMZ to any of those things. Whereas if your ass is out and you're smiling and whatever and you filter your stuff, suddenly you're famous for not for a quality reason.
Yes.
Yeah. But for a very ordinary, boring, visceral reason. That's been going on for centuries. It always has been, from Helen of Troy onwards. I mean, let's be serious here. But 90% of the people you work with don't know who Helen of Troy was. Mm-hmm. And when you see somebody, doesn't matter what the age is, and you see somebody who has a quiver of arrows, who has an understanding of romance, who has an understanding. I don't know. My dad used to say this most amazing thing. There was a wonderful Richard Burton quote, the young Welsh actor. I always think of you, and I don't know why, but I do always think of you, Nick, when I'm thinking of this. But young Welsh actor went to Richard Burton and said, "Mr. Burton, how do you do the acting?"
That's good accent. That's a good accent.
It's the most innocent statement I've ever heard in my life, right? And Burton took pity on him and said, "That's easy, son. What you do is you give the other actor your whole heart. And if you give it you back, you kick the shit out of it."
I love it.
And those are the people, I'm not talking about, there are singleness of ego, but but the people that surprise us, the people that make us want to watch, the people that carry the story have very little regard for self. Very regard for self. And that kind of, sorry to go on, but that
No.
answers your question about, it's the only bloody thing that's worth a damn is showing up and trying to find out what piece of the puzzle are you?
Yeah.
You know, what piece of this magical puzzle are we?
So, sorry,
That's good.
while I'm train of thought, I just want to reiterate, genuinely want to reiterate, I've thought about Mark a lot over the years. Because Mark, when I met you, I was young, I was impressionable. I was, not massively experienced. I'd done some bigger gigs, but I was still behind the. You had this lovely, calming influence on me, and I'll never forget it. And you're actually really positive about me. I know this is not me. I'm not the guest tonight, but I just want to give my love for a minute. You were very warm, very welcoming to me, and although you had already done a shit ton by this point, well, really just gave me a confidence boost, if I'm honest, that I'd not really had from anyone that was working in the industry. No one had really said genuinely, and I remember you told me, you said, I see you, and I've never forgotten that. Because it felt honest and it felt genuine, and it felt like it came from a place of love. So I've really missed you, and I've tried. I don't know how. Every sort of couple of years, I think, fuck, let's try again. Or maybe that's not his. Or maybe he doesn't check those. Or maybe that's not his. Not anymore. Or blah blah. And many of some answers to you. So here we are. I've missed you, and I'm so happy to see you, and you look great, and you're fucking, you're one of my favorites.
I love you dearly, my friend. I will tell you exactly what it is. It's when you sat down in that booth, and you remember this, I was like, oh, something's going on here. And the last thing I would ever want to do was disturb your process. And you were beautifully all over the place, but not all over the place. You were centered, but you were all over the place. You're buzzing, you were thinking, the stuff's coming, whatever, and you're verbalizing and you're doing whatever. And I'm like, there's something really interesting here. So I just watched you. All I had to do was watch you. Because there's nothing I'm doing that doesn't come from that. They're going to turn a camera around to me at some point. Most interesting thing I could be doing at that time is listening to you and watching those completely. What was funny? Okay, I'll make it even simpler. What was going through your head? Maybe what I saw was what you should do, and what you were fighting with is what you wanted to do. And my job, therefore, in that space was to let you do what you wanted to do, not what you thought you should do, and to be there and support that when you're going, does that make any sense to you? And I'm like, absolutely, keep going. Because if it's great, it's great. It doesn't matter what the cost is. It really doesn't, because we're all supposed to be in that together. And I've had the benefit of working with some extraordinary actors, not all the famous ones necessarily, but I do have a reputation for making grumpy old bastards comfortable and making new people excited.
You have a really nice giving energy, and it's. But
Nick, it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you anything to listen, does it?
Well, listening is acting, right? Not waiting for your turn to speak.
And you can see it on the screen. You can always see it on the screen. You were vibrated, but in that scene, I remember that scene. In that scene, you're in a powerful position, but you're less than. So the whole aspect of that scene is, how are you trying to dominate the scene? Not whether you're dominating the scene, is how you're trying to dominate the scene as that character. Which is fascinating, because that's why you were picked. You were picked because you had this.
That's also the director in you now talking. And so listen, can I, we're going to go back to the beginning, I think.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning, because this is incredible, by the way. There's so many questions, but I feel like we're jumping ahead a little bit.
We are jumping ahead because Mark's had a really interesting career, an early part of his career here. So I want to jump back. So, Mark, born in London. London
Irish.
Yeah, and is your mum German?
My mum is German. She escaped East Germany when she was a kid, went to West Germany.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Went to Ireland, then went to London as a model in the 60s. She was the Hardy Amy shirt girl in the 60s.
Wow.
And at 19, got pregnant by my dad and had me. My dad was Royal Shakespeare Company actor.
Went to RADA.
He went to RADA at 25. He was the oldest one there. He came out of the Norwegian Merchant Navy. You want to talk about crazy?
Oh, wow.
He joined the Norwegian Merchant Navy because there was no rationing. He's not Norwegian.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Norwegian Merchant Navy, traveled the world, came back, was a total wide boy, total thug.
So why did he join the Norwegian Navy instead of
No rationing. They rationed food on British boats.
Incredible.
It was rationing. It was post-war rationing. So in the 50s, it was
Yeah, that's still going
terrible
on.
being a
Yeah.
sailor. So he joined the Merchant Navy, but he joined a Norwegian boat.
I love
Which is, and I found pictures of his boat going under the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I was in Oslo at the Maritime Museum. All that, I mean, he was wonderful, but he was one of those actors that was in everything. I mean, if you look him up, it's insane.
Incredible resume.
Yeah.
But I never felt that he got as much joy out of film as he should have done. He loved theatre. I mean, he was part of that golden Peter Brook era of theatre, which was the greatest period of theatre, which, I guess Branagh sort of just all he did was copy it and copy and paste and go, oh, everyone went, oh, this is brilliant. It's just the rehash of how clever they were. My dad was in Marat Sade on Broadway, did all the fun stuff. And I watched him for years, only being happy when he was working and being miserable when he wasn't working. And then doing a TV and all the things that he used to talk about, I didn't find to be particularly genuine. And I ended up, cut a very long story short, he moved to America to do Max Headroom. He was one of the co-stars of Max Headroom. And he got all excited because he loved America. And I moved over as a musician and I was playing and stuff. And then I ended up doing this play and I win all these awards and I do all this stuff. And he came to see me and he said, well, I knew you had the talent. I didn't know you had the technique. I'm so bloody glad they didn't send you to RADA or send you wherever. And this comes back to what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
I wasn't trained. I was never trained.
Oh, wow.
If anything, I'm a Chekhov actor. Michael Chekhov actor, if anything else. That's the closest you would get to what I have. But I was never trained in that. I started by directing theatre and teaching. Yeah. And then I because my dad was teaching and it was so simple for me. And I'd be the guy that would just take your sides away and go, what the hell are you trying to say here? And it had been so mystified. And I find this in England and in Ireland and, well, not so much in Ireland, but England particularly, not Wales, because the actors that I love are all Celts anyway. So, I mean, it's just a thing. It's a natural sense of loss and a sense of less than and a sense of fuck you that comes through on everything. So beautiful. That's the short version, right?
That's very true.
Sedition and manipulation and poverty are great levelers. But the truth of it is in England, they train it out of you. In England, they train you to hold a spear at the back. In England, they train you to be happy with what you got. I'm not being rude to some of the great people that are trained, but you can't train Michael Gambon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't. How do you train Richard Burton? How do you train O'Toole? How do you train?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one of those lucky people that have worked with people that work with all of them. They demystified the frickin' process for me. And they went, look, read the frickin' book. What do you like about this? What's interesting to you? What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
The hardest thing for me as an actor is I've discovered that I show up on set or stage and I have no idea what's going to come out.
But that's good. That's fucking exciting. Right?
Yeah, now your energy right there. That's the same energy you had when I met you. That's the same energy Matt Ryan has when we're talking about a TV show that we saw a performance. But usually a performance, not a show. But that's what it's about. It's kind of like, yeah. Where are we? What are we doing? Where are we? So, I mean, Stanislavski, there's a great Mamet quote. Stanislavski said there's three types of actors. The first presents a ritualized and superficial version of the emotions called for by the text. I'm not reading this. It's back of my head, always has been. Lust, anger, grief, whatever. Second comes to set or stage, prepares his own unique and individual version of the emotions called for by the text, comes to the set or stage ready to present that. The third type of actor, called the organic actor by Stanislavski, understands that no emotions are called for by the text, only actions, and comes to the set or stage ready to act moment to moment, to invent nothing, to deny nothing, curiously enough, not called the great actor. Now, in that, I tried to find over the years, between that and the Richard Burton quote is everything.
Yeah.
The analysis of it is irrelevant. The understanding of it is relevant, but the doing of it, if you jumped off a building and your arms flapped and you didn't squash, you actually flew, then you've flown. Thinking about it in a room, talking about it in a room, you're not flying. You're thinking about the possibilities of flying.
Love it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
You've got to give a shit, and it doesn't matter what it is. Actually, it's really bizarre. Michael Chekhov, when he came to Hollywood, played all these little bit parts because he was everybody's teacher at one point. I mean, everybody's teacher at one point, and he played all these weird bit parts in movies, and he's absolutely extraordinarily strange. And directors kept saying, like, "I don't understand what he's doing," and yet he was so screen because it didn't follow the rules. And I think that young actors, they make an approximation of what they see.
But they're too afraid to make a mistake or to be judged.
Yes, totally. And the bottom line is, you know, for want of a better phrase, being stark naked on the back of a ship, you better be doing something funny or interesting, because otherwise you just start naked on the bow of a ship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you've been chased by a shark, it gets interesting. But you're right, it's allowing. And having people around you that care as much. I mean, you got to think, my first film was with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
Right? And I got that job. I was like the fourth person put into that film. I didn't understand the procedure at all. It got very weird. And somehow I was doing this film. Amazing story. I think I told you at the time. And it's always blown my mind. I was improvising with Daniel for like 45 minutes. Patsy Pollock was holding the camera.
Wow.
And he sort of kept interrupting me. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And he's like, what? And I said, so can you just give me a minute? You're not giving me any room to play. Right. And he went, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were stuck. I went, no, I'm just waiting for you to shut up.
You said that to Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yeah, of course I did. Why wouldn't you? He was fucking about. He was tired. He'd just come off Mohicans.
Yeah.
And we just had the most intense conversation I've ever had in my entire life, where I'm now in tears because he's talking about the guy that I'm playing, did he know? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm now screwed. And then it's just like, we start. And I'm like, so I do. I have no fear because I'd never done a film. Yeah. I'd been in this process. I certainly never worked with Day-Lewis. And he was absolutely bizarrely enamored by me. It took me years to work out. I scared the shit out of him because I didn't care about him being Daniel Day-Lewis at all. It had no interest to me whatsoever. I was more afraid that I wasn't going to get across what I needed to get across. And if you don't take that away from me, that's where the magic is. Yeah. I drove him crazy. I drove him absolutely. One day, Jim was walking past us, and he as Jerry Conlon and me as Paddy Armstrong are arguing about him as Newman Archer in The Age of Innocence.
Fucking love it.
And he's going, I said, I don't like him. He's like, what do you like about him? I'm like, well, you should have married Michelle Pfeiffer. He's like, can't the very thing she loves about him had changed? I'm like, fuck off. You're full of it. Jim's just like, you guys are insane.
So Mark, how old were you when you did In the Name of the Father?
93. So I did 93, I was so 29, late. I'm 62. But I'd done a play and I'd done what I'd done, and they trusted me, and I helped audition the girl. I didn't know what the hell was. It's an amazing story. It's an hour-long story, but it's an amazing story. I left this improv situation and walked out, and I hadn't been to sleep for 36 hours, and I'd just flown in. And as I'm walking out we had an apartment at Dorchester or one of those places, a Grosvenor House Hotel. And I'm walking out and I have no idea where I am. I'm like literally punching. And suddenly I hear, where's Mark? And I'm like, I'm here. I got my bags. And Daniel comes out and goes, can I have a word? I'm like, oh God. So I didn't know how the audition process worked. Certainly not this one. And he said, can I have a word? He took me to a side room, and he's a little taller than me. And he's looking at me. He goes, listen, we know you're very tired. I'm like, oh God. And he's like, but we think you're a wonderful actor, and we know you can do this, and it's yours if you want it. I tried not to cry in his shoes because I was so not available at that moment. I've been through the hours and hours of this stuff. And I was like, thanks. And Jim shouted out, see, can you come back Monday? I'm like, okay. And I got downstairs and I was like, is this finished or do I have to do something else? I don't know if I haven't got anything else. That's all I've got. I've given everything I've got. And I went down and picked up the house phone and I called up, and Patsy's assistant goes, what's up? And I went, my brain's blown up. Did I get the job? And Patsy's assistant went, Patsy. I'm like, oh God, no, don't say anything. He's like, what is it? It's Mark. Has he fallen down the stairs? I can hear this in the background. I'm going, oh my God, I screwed myself so badly. And it's like, what's he want? He wants to know if he's got the job. So you hear all this laughing. All you hear is laughing. Phone picks up. It's Daniel. He says, unequivocally, absolutely, and without question, you have the job. Now fuck off and go to sleep.
Brilliant.
I went, okay. That's the thing. It's having those people. And then what's your next thing? Next thing was X-Files. Go into X-Files. And they're going like, And Larry Shaw, who directed me, goes, is there nothing you won't do for a shot? I'm like, no, is that wrong? And I felt really weird, you know? And he goes, mate, most TV actors have one foot in the hotel. I'm like, really? Why? Totally innocent. And what that is what we've been talking about this whole time is if they take that away from you, if they beat that out of you, the joy goes, the magic disappears, and you don't get the moments of you and me in a stupid booth in a badly built diner supposed to be Maryland in the middle of Bulgaria and Sofia,
or in a little caravan that was.
My caravan with the mural of a little girl on the mirror, which is the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's like the Kino caravan. I was like, oh my God, this is terrifying.
Caravan.
I had a sticker of a 5-year-old girl on a mirror at the end of my caravan with a teddy bear. I'm like, I have a photograph of it going, I will never post that as long as I live. It looks like a person being there. It's absolutely terrifying.
I want to take us back to the music, if that's all right. You drop that come from there. So this is pre-acting. We know your dad's an incredible actor. A proper sort of when the rep was the rep, and it was infamous and incredible, rather trained. So I'm guessing you didn't feel the pressure to follow him into the drama school because you said you didn't.
I hated the idea. When I was 17, Sheila Tresize and Patsy Pollock came and found me. I was playing drums in bands in London. They came and found me for a movie called Made in England, Made in Britain. Alan Clark, Tim Roth's film, to play the lead. And I had no experience whatsoever. And I got all the way to the end of that, and Tim got it. Of course, Tim was amazing in that.
Yeah, but wait, sorry. Just on a train of thought. You can't say you playing drums. How did they know who Mark Sheppard was?
I was literally playing around town, and I had a somewhat shaved head, and somebody said to somebody, what about him?
Oh, wow. So they had no idea who your father was?
No, they went deep and looked, and they went, I wonder if he's the guy. This is a really big story.
And think, well, hang on a minute, why are we going there to watch a drummer? We're fucking trying to cast a movie.
Well, somebody had seen me and went, he's fascinating. Because I guess I was talking through it. I wasn't just hidden in the back. I was in a 3-piece band at the time. So it was a lot of energy, and I was young. And I guess I had no idea how this happened. And I ended up meeting Sheila, who was wonderful. And this thing just kept going. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do a film. And I met Leland, I met Mike Lee. I met all sorts of people with this year. And I could talk. I taught the hind legs off a donkey, you know that. So it was like, it became this thing, this energy that were going, this is fascinating. And I didn't get the job. So I got a call from Sheila a little after that saying, there's a film in Spain. Can you drive? And I went, yes. I couldn't. No, I said no. And she goes, good. I'm glad you can drive. I was like, what the fuck is going on? It was hysterical. And they were trying to get me to do a film called The Hit with Terence Stamp, Tim Roth's second film. And I was like, no, I'm making a record. Didn't want to do it.
Wow.
Didn't want to go down that road of rejection. Yeah. I didn't want to do it.
And it burnt fingers the first time then. So do you think it was that fear of rejection that do you think it was the fear of rejection initially that may not follow your dad's footsteps? You saw him go.
But the fact that he was miserable when he didn't work, and the fact that he never achieved the things he wanted to achieve, and the fact that he didn't have a great relationship with my mom and was very adversarial. I mean, I wanted to be like him, but he wasn't, with all the love in my heart. I love my father so much. He's no longer with us, but he's actually on my mantelpiece. I didn't want to be like him. Never did. I won a bunch of theatre awards, and in the chorus, I'm not an actor. My dad's an actor. I'm a musician. I didn't want to be him because he was a fucking miserable sod most of the time. He had fun. When I moved out here, he was already out here. Then his world changed. He started up again. Me acting made him act, and then we worked together. We did stuff that was just amazing. That's a different chapter. But that early chapter was struggle, watching my mom living on 30 quid a week, you know, and him fucking around, going all over the world and doing whatever he wanted to do, etc. And it was just constant stress. And I was like, but all the things I loved about storytelling, he wasn't actually doing, because he wasn't part of the RSC at that time. What I'd seen as a kid, as an adult, I was like, no, I'm going to conquer the world as a musician. And I played in a lot of bands that almost made it, which was a lot of fun.
So
but the weird thing is I got asked to do that second thing, and I was like, no. And then I got sober. I
Yeah.
came out here to play. I came out here to play, and I was not doing well. I was really not doing well. And in the end of 1989, I got married, and that fell to pieces in months. And she went and got sober, and I got desperate enough to go and look at the program and all these happy, shiny people that pissed me off. And I got sober for a little bit, and then I went out with a friend of mine from Cork and had a very sad time for a few weeks of trying to see if it would be different, and it wasn't. And then I got clean and sober, and I went and got a normal job. And the funniest thing about it was, soon as that had happened, as soon as I'd done that, people came to find me to do this play, because they tried everybody else. And funnily enough, Gary Stretch, all sorts of weird people at the beginning of when they were trying to do stuff. And Trevor Goddard was eventually picked for it. And I loved Trevor. Trevor was a lovely man. No longer with us either. I was asked, I was going to do it, and I was asked who would, I was teaching. That made sense. I said, why don't we ask Mark? And he went, okay. So should get your dad to direct it? I went, no. So what was my choices? Was my dad or Billy Hayes, the author and protagonist of Midnight Express? I went, let's take Billy.
Wow.
And so my journey really begins in that play, Cock and Bull Story. It's a two-hander, but it's not a great play, but we won everything for it because the performances were good. And I remember this is important. I remember doing a rehearsal just before we're going up, and Billy came up to me, and that's great. He goes, that's really good. It's wonderful. When are you going to really do it? And I used the James Dean defense. I was like, fuck that. I said, I can't just turn it on and off like a tap. And he went, okay, so when are you going to turn it on? And I was like, I couldn't get away from it. I was like, fuck you. I was terrified of it. I was terrified of the whole idea. And that answers your question about what I said earlier, is that my experiences of it wasn't joy. My experiences of it were rejection and fear and my dad be miserable. And then I did this performance in rehearsal, and me and Trevor went backstage and we finished and just burst into tears. And it was the first time I'd experienced I have no recollection of the performance whatsoever. An hour and 45 minutes of non-stop dialogue and physicality, and just two of us. And it was like, it's like understanding Equus in, the first time you've done it. It's like, so this is what this is. And then that became that joy. And the funniest thing is, on the front page of the LA Times, picture of him and me, and that quote was in there. I'm not an actor, my dad's an actor, and he is an actor despite his protestations, was the next line. And I looked at that, and all these people that I'd been working with for 2 years in a video duplication factory that I'd built and helped design, just bluffed my way through, went, we just thought you were a pathological liar. I went, what? He said, well, you opened for U2 at Croke Park. You did this, you did that, you nearly did that. Wow. You were a complete bullshit artist. And I was like, well, no, that's all the things I'd done up to this point, and my life changed getting sober. And then I did that play, and then it was time for me to go make amends in England. And I went over a couple of years, and I'm sober, and I went over. I wasn't playing drums. I couldn't play drums.
Why not?
Because that was attached to me being loaded.
Okay. Oh, wow, that's incredible.
So got hold of Sheila Tresize. And Sheila went, what about fucking time? And they were trying to get me to go to the Garden, whatever it is in Manchester Theatre, or whatever the Garden Room.
Yeah, what's it called?
GRE, I think it was back then. But I can never remember. But they were like, well, yeah, but I watched this tape. I had a tape of this performance. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you do. And I'm like, and Sheila goes, I'm sending you over to see Patsy Pollock. I went to Patsy's office, I sat in Patsy's office. She looks at me and I start talking. And she goes, and by the way, sorry, last bit. During the play, everybody saw this play in LA. It was insane. Everybody saw this play. Sold out for 5 months, right?
Wow.
It was like doing something at the Don Mar. The vibe was that sort of like, as it just opened. And somebody comes up to me at the end and goes, wonderful casting director in America, turns up and goes, you're fabulous, Hattie. Do you have a SAG card? I went, no, I don't know. Do I need one? She's like, for God's sake. So she put me in silk stockings to Taft-Hardy me into the union, right? Guy comes up and goes, do you have an agent? I'm like, no. Do I need one? So I signed to APA. I mean, all this shit started to happen. Then I saw this, went back, saw Patsy, and Patsy's just looking at me like this as I'm talking. Oh, God, shut up.
I was listening on Spotify. You need to watch the YouTube bit of this. Thank you. Carry on.
Terrified. She just looked so disgusted with my verbiage. She looked so disgusted. And I went, what's wrong? She goes, oh, God. She goes, they're going to hate you in this country. I'm like, why? She goes, they're going to mistake your confidence for cockiness.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Really? She goes, look, I know you can act. Never sees me do anything. Didn't me read. She's going, and she knew about, because she was Alan Clark's partner at one point. So she knew about me from the beginning and I didn't know. And she's like, oh God, don't tell that to anybody else. Shut the fuck up. I'm like, okay. She goes, I'm casting this film and you're completely wrong for it, but you never know. Do you know anything about the Guildford Four? I went, yeah. How long are you in town? So I'm going back tomorrow. So well, I'll give you a Jim's in LA, I'll give you a call. It ends up last minute before Jim's getting on a plane. He meets me at the Hotel Nico. We have a 10-minute conversation. I get back. He says, can you come to, he thought he said, can you come to London? I said, I booked a flight. I said, I booked a flight to London. He goes, no, Dublin. I mean, okay. He says, how much is it? I told him. He goes, we'll pay that. I said, I thought it was Dublin. It was London. And I flew to London, no sleep, in coach, carrying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Couldn't fucking do it. And that was the beginning of my journey.
That's incredible.
That's phenomenal.
And that's just people going, and that's people seeing something and going, he's interesting. Can he do it? Let's see if he can do it. And then the next stage is, do I want to be on a set with a guy for 3 months? That's really what the question is. I had to learn that one because I'm not naturally gregarious in that way.
So can we quickly go through some of the bands played with? Just our musician lovers out there, right?
Well, I started out with the TV personalities on Rough Trade.
Yeah.
And they influenced so many other bands that are around. We had a record label called Wham Records, and we sued Wham and we won £1. Yeah. So on Rough Trade, early days of Rough Trade, and I played with all these bands. I played with Nicky Sudden, I played with Jet Head, I played with all those guys in that era. And then I joined Robin Hitchcock's band, when I played with him, and that wasn't the greatest experience. I had some pissy musicians that wanted somebody else to play instead of me. So I had an interesting thing at 17, 18 years old. And I joined the Barracudas, and the Barracudas, we couldn't get arrested in England, but were huge stars in France and all sorts of places. Played places like Algeria before anybody had ever done it.
Wow.
So odd stuff. And then Barracudas split up, and I joined an Irish band called Light a Big Fire.
Yes.
The byproduct from the pub, the Devonshire Arms in Kentish Town, where the Pogues and I and everybody else used to drink.
I played then a couple of years ago.
Well, my snooker keys probably still behind the bar. Joey used to run it. It was great. They moved up the road up to Chalk Farm. The son, Andrew, runs a different pub in Chalk Farm. Let's see him. But the Dev was where we hung out. And Eamon Carr, who was the Horselips drummer, was like, would you come over with this band? So they had a band and the drummer was sick. And I went over there on Paddy's Day, whatever year that was, 90 something, and stayed and ended up recasting my Irish roots and living in Dublin and became one of the bigger bands in Ireland. So it was Hot House Flowers and us with the other two bands, apart from U2. And I opened the Joshua Tree tour at Croke Park with Pogues and Dubliners and Lou Reed.
Incredible.
And we were going to take the world by storm, and we didn't. And my dad had come over in 86, 87 to do Max Headroom. And I quit the band and followed him over. Started a band out here called School of Fish, signed at Columbia. Did a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, played with called They Eat Their Own, did a bunch of session stuff. But I was loaded at the time. It wasn't until second day of 90 I got sober. So I've been sober 36 years, 36 and a half.
That's phenomenal. That's incredible.
But getting back to drumming was weird because Supernatural, once I did, I've been every bit of sci-fi that's ever been made, but once I did Supernatural, I went there for one episode and stayed for 8 years. It was very weird. There was a band that was related to them, they still are, called Loud and Swing. Great band, amazing guitar player. And we're playing these giant conventions, and they were like, do you want to get up and play? And we went, not really. What's in it for me? You know? And then the owner of the convention, Adam, was like, oh, come on, get up and play. He did it on microphone, so I was embarrassed as fuck. So I said, all right, fine, what do you want to play? And they like, paid Back in Black. So I played it. And they were like, oh, you play? I went, well, that's how I made my living since I was a teenager. Of course, that's how I play. And that turned into getting back into playing, and that turned into going back on tour with Robin Hitchcock.
And how did that feel? How did that feel? Like,
I have so much fun playing. I'm playing now. I've just actually, I'm a DW artist and a Zildjian artist and a Big Firth artist and a Remo artist and all those things. So I've always been a player. And I have amazing endorsements. So wherever I go, there's a drum kit and it's fun for me to do. And I don't have to sleep in the back of a van because I get paid reasonably well. But the love of it is so much fun. Like I have a gig in New York on the 24th. Yeah, the 24th of August. I'm playing Mercury Lounge next to where Katz's Deli is. Great. I love those gigs. I played just in Nashville. We toured Europe, do a whole bunch of stuff. I love doing it because it's
Back over here.
I'm playing in Edinburgh. Just booked a drum kit, Edinburgh in October. And I think we got a Manchester gig and we'll probably...
Oh, was that the sci-fi convention up in Manchester?
Yeah,
The Supernatural one?
Yeah, we're going to do that one in February. And we're probably going to play there, which would be fun.
Well, this is a question for you as well, Mark, obviously, because I know you were over in April for the Star Fury event with the Supernatural guys. Because I went for lunch with Richard Spate Jr. and Rob Benedict for a pub lunch near the and they do a gig, don't they, at the end of that? Do you get involved in that at all? And I know I'm jumping ahead here with these convention questions.
What happened is they were playing through a vocal PA and they ended up being like a house wedding band and they were a really good band. And Spate, myself and Rob basically using my leverage and my abilities and certainly my connections with music stuff, turned back to a 53-foot trailer and a full Saturday night special show, which ends up at the Last Waltz. So that ran for years, 3,000 people and I watching, huge stage show, the whole deal, 2 drums up, myself and Stephen Horton both playing. And it was just fantastic. It was an amazing thing to build. And then when I left the series, it wasn't really fair for me to stay at the conventions because they'd just be, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? So let my friends have the job. I went on tour with Hitchcock. But it sort of atrophied a bit. And when I came back, I pushed it back up. So the Saturday night, we do conventions and it's a very one-sided thing. But Loud and Swain is a real band. And I'm always, I play on the Saturday night, I play 4 songs. If Ackles is playing or Steve Carlson or Christian Kane, who I play with, if they're playing, I'll obviously get up and play. And their drummer, Stephen Norton's a wonderful keyboard player too, so he can just switch instruments and the fun of it is great. But I play all the time. So Billy and I are working on an album right now. We're going to be touring as Tricky MC with Paul Corella, the Glaswegian singer. Rich just got a new album that Billy produced. Loud and Swain have got a new album coming out. So there's a lot of music around us all the time. So any chance we get to play gigs that it's financially feasible because it's so difficult to do. But it's easier for me because I have the access to gear and this and that stuff. And we can co-op some of the crowd over, which makes it fun. But I love it. It's a way to give back.
Yeah. With musician actors, obviously with the guys from Supernatural, you got the band and what have you. Do you bond easier with fellow actors when you know there's a musician behind there as well and being able to sort of chat music?
Well, there's different levels of musician actors. There's, vanity projects and there's, my grandmother told me I could sing, and there's actual people that can
sing,
that play and always played. I mean, I always played. I've been playing drums since I was 12. Space always been in bands, and as a kid, and his musical direction is wonderful. We have a festival that we start to play every year in deep into Oregon at an old theater and street outside in the street fair, and we were going to do it this year, but you guys are having a freaking reunion, so we can't do it, so we had to cancel it. So this day
I'm not going, unfortunately.
It's this week, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'd rent a house by the lake, go out, play with some of the best players in the country out there. But, it's the fun of it. Nashville, we have session guys come and join us that we know. We play the music that we have. But yeah, there's a lot of actors who think they make music and there's a lot of musicians who also act. It's storytelling. What's the difference?
Yeah. For me, I liken it to theatre.
Live.
When you're playing live with your band, I liken it to the buzz you get from delay. It's different because you can go again, you can cut, but if you forget your lines or forget chords or forget the fucking song, if you forget your lines on stage in the shit, about the shit, and that adrenaline rush is I find I absolutely love playing live with my band.
But I always say I didn't know you did it, but I'm glad you do. But because I know you love music, you were the one that introduced me to Richard Ashcroft. So I mean, but I was like, which has been a interesting thing in my life. But when I make television and films, I'm playing with 150 of my friends, right? Oh, good job. Wonderful. What a great take, whatever. You don't see the product. When you're on stage,
yes.
Everything, organic. It's a complete circle. So when actors like Matt Smith was asking me, because what's it like doing a convention? I went, oh yeah, well, 3,000 people tell you they love you, take photographs with you. They'll explain why they love you and what they like about what you do. You get filled to the brim. You're going to have your audience. You're going to actually get to play with your audience.
Yeah.
You're going to get those moments and you're going to get that thing, and then you're going to sleep for 3 days afterwards because you're going to be emotionally exhausted.
Yeah.
And every time you've stepped on a stage, be it music or theater, the live aspect of that, the audience's reaction to that is a different thing than film. Unless, you're lucky enough to have a lot of people on a set or stage when you're shooting a film that actually know what they're talking about,
That was going to be one of my questions about. You literally just answered one of my questions about Comic-Cons, because obviously with Supernatural, you have the very supernatural centric conventions, and you're right. I think they've come there for a reason, and that is to see you, and that must be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing is that Supernatural is a show that has very particular themes: brotherhood, good versus evil, blood's thicker than motor oil, whatever it is, the fun stuff. But we're in a very, very dangerous time as far as mental health is concerned. And so many people, millions of people, have found something in this show that bonds them together, a common peril. And it's an echo of a common peril, and the echo of an idea that if you just keep fighting, good will somehow prevail. And that in this time has made this show an extraordinary thing. And then with the pandemic and a strike, I mean, it just started again. And 60 to 70% of the people at Supernatural conventions are new. It's a very different audience because, they can binge it in whatever, couple of months, 360 episodes. They can binge it in a couple of months or 3 months or whatever. And back in the old days when it was on, you had to wait and see if we were even going to get picked up, and it would end in July and you wouldn't see it till October. And it's a different audience, but it's just as genuine. And what surprises me is our audience, the connection that the audience has with each other. It's why we end up calling them the Supernatural family. It sounds so fucking precocious and pompous, and it isn't. So if we have a cause, or we have something we believe in, or Jared has a cause, or Misha builds hospitals and schools and rescues people from foreign countries. So, I mean, I might make fun of his character for the next 25 years, but as a human being, he's an extraordinary human being. And he has an idea, he has a thing, and that group of people makes it 1,000 times bigger or 1,000,000 times bigger. It's not ego. It's not about ego. It's about, damn, we're actually doing something positive.
Yeah.
And
it's a community. You have a community of
very much
family. It's for family, isn't it? It's absolutely a family.
Family's how you behave, not blood, really.
Yeah.
Truly. I mean, we all know horror stories, whether it's us or other people, that people have atrocious family members and horrendous stories. And the family you find is sometimes a more important thing than the family you've got. Sometimes. And then, you get a chance with your own family and your own kids, and you get a chance to break a mold or break a chain or do things differently or behave.
So is there a chance of
what?
Supernatural? Is there a chance of back into Supernatural?
I don't know. I don't own the property. I don't know what they do. I mean, it's like, I gave up on the idea it's not that I don't care. I love the idea, but I'm saying it's such a special, weird thing. I mean, I had to keep a show on the air for 15 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Curry.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the most remarkable concept.
Yeah.
And there is no more
especially in the States, when it's hard to keep something. Maybe.
Yeah. Now there's no loyalty to shows. It's all about money and you can't make another Better Call Saul. You could probably make a Breaking Bad, but you can't make a Better Call Saul. If you know the difference, that's explanatory. But, you just do the best you can. I mean, try not to bump into the furniture is what I do. But I love it. I genuinely love it. And I love what comes with it. And I had massive heart stuff that went on, most bizarre circumstance a couple of years ago. And, when you're a kid and you're very self-indulgent, and if I died, I wondered who'd come to my funeral. I kind of found out. My text messages definitely showed me where I am on this planet. It's a rather wonderful thing. I mean, if I pass, I'm sure
can we talk?
I never got to talk to Mark before he died.
Can we
on the phone with Richard Spate at the time?
Can we go into this a little bit, if that's okay? The heart.
A long story. It's an amazing story.
Well, please, we want to hear it, because what I found out sick. You got to go into this.
All right. So, okay. An ingrown hair somewhere in my groin area, and I popped it. and it wouldn't get better. And it turned up into what looked like a prolapsed cat's asshole at some point. I left it for 18 months. Typical boy. Squamous cell carcinoma. Not a fucking good thing to have. Not a good thing to do. I'm an idiot. My wife had been like, go to the doctor. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. What the fuck? I'm fine. Whatever. You know, all the signs that everybody needs to know, you know, a scab that's only paper thin, that sort of stuff. So I go see this surgeon. He's about 5 feet tall, 70 years old. I went, this doesn't smell. He goes, that's disgusting. What are you, an idiot? I'm like, oh, what do we do? He goes, well, I could cut this out. Well, I could section it and send it off for a couple of weeks and we could see what happens. He's going to just cut the fucker out. I'm like, let's cut the fucker out. So they got that out. Took a chunk out of me this big, right? So now I'm a little distended. And this is the pre-lap for everything. So I'm not big in any shape or form, but I could always carry weight. And I've been carrying a bit of weight, probably about 20, 30 pounds more than I wanted to. My metabolism wasn't working great. And this all makes sense in a minute. So I went to go see a plastic surgeon that I know is an amazing guy. You know, he's the guy who fixes your face after you come off a motorcycle, as well as tits and asses. But he looks at me, he goes, why the fat suit? I went, what a prick. He goes, drop 15 pounds. I can move that ridiculous scar, which was like a Frankenstein scar, and put that down your groin. I was like, okay. So he said, call me when you drop 15 pounds. I said, I'll call you when I drop 7. I called him 6 days later. I killed carbs, did all that stuff. None of this means anything right now, but it'll make sense in a minute. And I go have this surgery. I dropped nearly 40 pounds healthily, going, what the hell's going on in my body? This is really weird. So I had the surgery. It's a very nasty surgery, abdominoplasty. It's a big deal. Everything was successful, wonderful. I had drains in there, etc. Blah, 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 blah. Did 3 weeks out after this. Everything's successful. And I've now got to have the drains taken out, which is 2 like bowls of crap and 2 pipes coming out of my body. My mate was going to drive me down to see the doctor. And I'm like, I don't feel good. I really don't feel good. So, and I had this pain in my jaw, like TMJ. I was like, it's not good. I was late. And I was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. And I'm standing at the kitchen counter spitting, going, come on, throw up. If you're going to throw up, throw up. It's that feeling. Like, I was on Norco. I'm sober a long time, so I had to take the painkillers. I hate painkillers. And I was like spitting and this is great. And then suddenly I went, wow, stone dead. I had 100% blockage in the Widowmaker. So I die. 8 seconds later, I open my eyes, ice cold, lift up off the floor. My wife's on the phone at 9/11, going, you know, he's had some reaction to the drug or something, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I pissed myself. I'm like, I don't feel good. She goes, you're going to hospital? I said, yes, I'm going to hospital. Get me some clean clothes. I said, I don't care if I'm dirty. I care if I'm wet. So I crawl into the pantry. I set myself up, which is smart. Crawled into the pantry, got my underwear. I still had bandages around my middle. Got 1 sock on. I was going, this isn't working. Crawled out to the oven, sat by the oven, died again. There's no blood going through my aorta. Came to with a guy looking in my face going, he's back. And my first words are, motherfucker, don't let me die. Which he said, I'll do the best I can, which did not impress me at all. And he said, can anyone tell me what happened? I said, yeah, I was walking from across there to the counter. I'm spitting on it. And he's looking at me like, oh my God, how is he talking? I had no L2 function in my heart whatsoever, no blood going through my aorta. And I'm having a full conversation with this guy. This turns into, long story short, he ended up pedaling me 7 times, I found out 3 months later, because you can't move a dead body. So he's trying to jumpstart me, even though it's not going to unblock my heart, to have me coherent enough that he can throw me in an ambulance and get me to hospital. Like, he pedaled me 7 times, not 4 as I thought originally, 7. And one of them, I'm like, okay, my windows keeps collapsing and getting smaller. It's not good. And I'm looking at my wife who's standing there in absolute shock. My little one been taken upstairs, didn't see it. And my mate who was driving me there was just, they're just standing in shock. He said, the worst thing I've ever heard is check pulse, no pulse. He went, what does that mean? He's like, yeah, he said heart attack. Like, okay. And they watch me die and then talk and then die and then talk. And they're watching me being bounced around my kitchen island. At one point I looked up at the guy and I said, I have 3 beautiful children, a beautiful wife and a beautiful life. Don't let me die. Because I had to say something. Because every time I woke up, I looked at my family and I could see my family in hell. No trauma in dying, just trauma in watching them die. Yeah. Then watch me die. Sorry. They threw me in a chair, got the chair in the ambulance, 4 p.m. Friday, 2 weeks before Christmas, 2 years ago. Wow. So what they're going, do we go to St. Joseph's or do we go to Cedars Sinai? I went, I fucking hate Cedars. He's like, how is this man talking? He has no blood go through his heart. And they called St. Joseph's, and I remember him going, cath patient, 6.5 minutes. I'm like, it's 6.3 miles away. And I'm like, that's a bit fucking optimistic in traffic in LA. He's like, shut up. I'm like, okay. And they went negative, negative, divert, divert. There's 2 ahead of you. And he went, fuck you, 6 minutes. Hold on. Back down my cul-de-sac. Jay turned and went at it. They got there in 6 minutes. I had 3 events in the ambulance. He had to nitroglycerin me. He couldn't paddle me anyway. I'd die. It'd fry my heart. And I'm swearing at him for 20 minutes. He picked me up, put me over his shoulder and ran me into the ER and threw me on the table.
Wow.
Right. To which I'm then cognizant, coherent. And I went, everybody stop. They're like, what the fuck? There are 11 people working on me at this point. And I'm like, and a guy had come in and said, cath lab, 8 minutes, and walked right at the beginning. Right. So 6 minutes plus 8 minutes. And is what they're aiming at. I went, everybody stop. I've just had, I couldn't remember the word, abdominoplasty. And I have 2 drains in my groin. So if you could be careful, I'd appreciate it. And this nurse is in my face, goes, okay. And I'm like, but more importantly, I have 3 beautiful children, a beautiful wife and a beautiful life, and I'd like to go home. And she goes, we'll do the best we can. I'm like, fuck this. They throw me in the cath lab. I'm down in the cath lab. There's 2 guys over my face, one looking at me, one not looking at me. So I turn to the one looking at me, I go, what's your name? And he says, Tomas. I'm like, where are you from? He said, Glendale. I said, oh, you're Armenian. He starts laughing. The guy on the right said, can you just shut the fuck up for a minute? I'm trying to do something. I'm like, I'm sorry, I thought it was helping. I got very upset. And he goes, no, you are helping. Just give me a minute. And then I remember saying the craziest thing I've ever said in my life. Okay, I'm starting to be able to breathe. He goes, yeah, you got blood going through your heart for the first time in fucking 20 minutes.
Fucking hell.
Incredible, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that in and of itself is an interesting story. They sent me home 48 hours later and never felt better. Okay, that was 100% blockage. So at some point I had 70, 80, 90, and I was still going, which is insane. Most people spark out at 70 or 80, they're done. So I get home, phones start ringing. So I'm talking to Spate and the boys. They're on tour. I'm talking to Spate and the boys. They're like, what the fuck? And Spate made a joke which will haunt him for the rest of his life. So I told him the story, and he goes, he made an impression of me, which was, don't let beep, beep, oh, guy. Beep, 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 right? And I was on the phone with him. I was back an hour and a half. I got paparazzi'd outside the hospital. It was hysterical. I walked out of the hospital. Never felt better. And I'm talking and I suddenly feel lightheaded. And I went, hold on, and hung up on him. And he thought that was the last thing he was ever going to say about me.
Oh my God.
You've got to press him on that. Just go, don't let. I want it on a t-shirt. We've gone around it. Speaker. So that would be all fair and fun. And then I went into a fit. I didn't know. I just thought I blacked out. And my now 21-year-old and my now 10-year-old, 21-year-old screaming in my face because all this chaos that had been going on for 2 days. 25-year-old's on the phone, 26-year-old's on the phone, and my little one's watching me through a window, completely flipping out. No, I think I'm just unconscious. I come to and it's like, stop shouting at me. And the same EMTs are walking down my hallway going, what the fuck, dude? We only dropped you off on Friday. 25-year veteran EMTs. That's the point I was going to make. They're all 20. This is where they go to retire around the corner from my house. I had the best of the best of the best of the best. Broke every rule in the book. So it becomes a fun fest at this point. You know, it's like, what do you and one of them looks at me, Pete, done all the work on me. The guy cussed out for 20 minutes. It's like, you remember everything? I went, yeah. He goes, you remember what I said in the ambulance? He was really upset. And I went, yeah. And at one point, I was pretty sure I was dead. And he goes, I said, promise you'll get me to the hospital. And he paused an eighth of a second too long and said, all right, I promise. Promise you come see me. I went, yes. He did not want to make that promise.
Yeah. Wow.
So on Sunday, 2 days later, he's like going, you remember what I said to you? I said, yeah. He goes, you know, I lied. I went, yeah. And then he was good. They take me in. Everyone's like, can't kill Crowley. Everyone's laughing. My kids come and give me the big talk. They give me the big talk. Like, you did a great job, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, can you go get me some sushi? I haven't eaten all day. They're like, I said, yeah, I'm going up 3 North. I'll be fine. They're just going to look after me. Got something going on. I mean, I'm on blood thinners. I'm on everything else. I'm fine, you know? And my heart operation was through here. So I'm not zippered. That's why I got out in 2 days. I went through here, a long way. Anyway, I get upstairs, 6 o'clock, turn on Columbo. One more thing. Great storytelling. Columbo.
Yeah. Great show.
Absolutely amazing. Classic Columbo. Start watching it. And suddenly I can't breathe. And I'm on my own in a normal room in a hospital. So I try to find, crawling on all fours, and I try to find the button on the bed. And I find the button. I can't breathe. I'm literally, find the button and press it. What I don't know is a code blue 3 doors down. All the nurses are off station. And the cleaning lady, Maria, answers, hello? And I went, help me, and died. And she pressed the panic button. So they have 2 code blues running at the same time. That guy died, unfortunately. The 2 ahead of me on the Friday died as well. And my kids are coming out of the elevator with sushi too. Code blue, crash car. They're like, well, some poor fucker's dying. Look, it's Dad.
Fucking.
They're watching 4 nurses bounce me off a bed and they cannot get me. I went into full electrical ventricular tachycardia. So I had one of those. I had a heart attack. I went and the heart stopped. So 2.5 minutes, they couldn't get me back. And then suddenly I open my eyes and go, okay. And they're like, what's going on? I went, am I still in the same room? And they started laughing. They all just started laughing. There's 2 idiots at the bottom of my bed. I didn't know who they were. 2 big blokes at the bottom of my bed. And they just looked stupid. Of course, they were supposed to take me downstairs when they coded me out. But I didn't realize that for months.
Wow.
So my second thing was, who broke my ribs? This little nurse goes, I'm so sorry. I'm like, good job. Don't worry about it. And as I'm getting wheeled out, they're just laughing. They're just laughing at me. They're just going, this is insane. 2.5 minutes, they've been pounding the shit out of me. And then suddenly I just start talking. And I go,
like a fucking cat.
well, I remember looking at her going like, oh, for God's sakes, can I just have one day where I'm not pissing on myself? And she looks at me and goes, or everybody else. And now we're talking, forget all the rest of it, but it goes on for hours. But now 9 days in ICU and some choices are made. I have never, this is the upshot. I went back 3 months later. I elected to have a defibrillator put on my chest, not a pacemaker. I have the heart function of a 30-year-old athlete. I have no scar tissue, which I had starting scar tissue on the first scan. I don't have any scar tissue 3 months later.
Wow.
It's nuts. I have a little stent in my heart and the LAD, nothing. My resting heart rate is 60. I am the healthiest heart patient they have in cardiology. It's ridiculous. I have the heart function of a 30-year-old athlete. That's probably why I survived, plus what people did. So, there was a side to it where people go, well, didn't he have a heart attack? I said, no, I actually had 15 stoppages, but I have no damage to show from that. I'm in any way invalided. There's no restrictions on anything I do.
Does it ever play on your mind at any point?
Give you a best answer ever. Do you remember when Fair died on telly? The red-shirted Eastern European soccer player, 2004, 2005.
Yes.
By accident, I saw it on Instagram. Tell you how interesting the algorithm is. And it was set to the most diabolically orchestrated music. And I'm watching the guy in the night game and he's scratching his ass arguing with the linesman. And he was the captain. He was only 24, 25 years old, something like that. He walks out to the middle of the pitch and he just puts his hands on his knees and goes, and I went, oh, I know what's going to happen next. He dies. I know exactly what that feels like. I know exactly what that feels like. I know exactly what that is. And I'm watching it. And that doesn't affect me at all. What affects me is the 19 and 20-year-old kids eating on the ground. I mean, he's dead. I like to believe the universe will provide. I like to believe there's something better than our ponderously earthly experience. You know what I mean? Something. I don't know what it is. Would we turn into light? I don't care. The bottom line is, I looked at all those kids. I've never seen one of those kids ever play on that, from that. And I have no trauma from dying, only trauma from watching my family watch me die. They can't discuss it with me. My wife hears an ambulance, she bursts into tears.
Wow.
They went through, they gave up. I watched them give up. I genuinely watched them give up. You can't watch somebody die 8 times and go, this is going to be okay. Nobody's saying we got it. So I was so pissed off with the idea that I hadn't done the shit I'd needed to do. So now it's time, man. Now it's time for me to go and do the things that I want to do. Now it's time for me to go scare some people on telly and make some interesting movies and do what
I mean, you're doing it incredibly. There's an absolute verve about you, and so talking of TV, just for fans of other shows that you've done, obviously, say Supernatural is huge in your life, rightly so. But there was some other great shows as well, Mark. I mean, Soldier of Fortune.
It was so much fun. I still see Tim Abel a lot. Brad's no longer with us, but had an interestingly adversarial time with him. All those ins and outs and all those shows taught me some wonderful things. They really did. Battlestar was written for me. Who was offered to me?
Yeah,
that was a miracle of fun. I mean, it was just.
What about Leverage?
Leverage was written for me.
Wow.
I didn't know at the time, and it was actually the character was called the Mark Sheppard. I think Amy Berg and John Rogers as the Mark Sheppard, and I got a phone call, and the only question was, "Do you want to play him English or Irish?" I'm like, "Oh God!" So they threw me in the deep end with Tim Hutton, and it was fun to do. And X-Files was off the back of In the Name of the Father, and it was just, that was the sort of start of those things. But Battlestar is probably the best thing I ever did. That was an extraordinary show. That's a mind-blowing show. Good that is.
It was great.
But there's very few things I haven't enjoyed, you know?
And how was 24?
24, Keith was really respectful to me. Very. So all this stuff, people kept whining about him and talking about what misery guts he is. Or
He's a musician as well, right? It's because he's a musician.
yeah, he is. He's a lover of music. But Keith has always known I'm sober. So he's extraordinarily polite to me in that context, especially at times when, you know, he'd be drinking with his buddies and whatever. He's just always had a sort of reverence, and I don't care. I don't care if somebody's behaving badly. He wasn't. I'm not saying that he was. But I don't care if somebody's behaving badly. I don't care if they're having a bad day or they can't find it or they're not doing it on a set. I'll wait. You want to shout and scream and do whatever? I'll wait. Shout and scream at somebody else, I'm going to fuck you up. But you bully somebody, it's fine. You want to bully me? Give it a go. It'll all end up on camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the scene's still the scene. Doesn't matter where you want to go. I can't tolerate people being bullied on a set. That's just something that it won't happen. You know, I can take a quiet walk off set and just give me a call when you've all quietened down. And because I'm now older, I get that sort of power. But I'm also a guy who shows up early, so they get the two sides of that.
Yeah,
I've got to behave appropriately. I got to be able to be the butt of jokes. I've got to be able to be, because I like.
That's amazing. I mean, do you call that out as well if you do see bullying or you know, even members of the crew, actors being mistreated? Do you step in and just say?
It's much easier to do it quickly than it is to wait and have it linger. If you do it quickly, I can actually, if somebody starts shouting at somebody and doing it, I can then shout very loudly and go, I'm trying to focus here. Everybody needs to stop shouting.
Yeah.
And that can actually take all the air out of it. And I've had producers come up and go, nice move.
Yeah, that's a great move.
Eddie Olmos, Edward James Olmos on set. I think we had a replacement first AD. First AD's dad was sick or something bad. And the guy came in and he was trying to run a show that ran itself very well. Discipline on that show was outrageous. Eddie never arrived on set without everybody else already being there. That kind of behavior. Nobody ever saw sides on that set. It was just done. Everybody worked. And first AD started shouting, anecdotal, might be true, might not be true. And started shouting at his crew, come on, gotta hurry up and do it. And that doesn't happen on that set. And suddenly saw him grab the guy by the elbow and escort him off the set. And all that anybody heard was, we don't do that here. He walked him off the set and out the door.
Wow.
And he didn't come back. And the second AD comes on and goes, okay, that's lunch, 1 hour at like 11. Everyone went, fair enough.
You like to think he wouldn't do that again as well. So hopefully that's a lesson learned for him as well.
Well, there's kindness in it. You know? I've worked with older actors, wonderful over. I've worked with Tim Dalton for 5 years on HBO. He can be a grumpy bastard. I love him with all my heart, but he can be a grumpy bastard. It's not hard to set a tone. It was just weird. I showed up because it was such an effects-heavy show and such a complicated show to shoot that the directors were working so hard on massive crane shots and really tricky stuff. And then you bring someone like Tim in, who's 80 now?
Is he that old now? Wow.
Yeah, he's 79 or 80. And he comes on, they bring him in at 6 o'clock, drive him in on 6 o'clock, and he's not getting used till 1 a.m. So how the fuck does that work? So I'd start showing up really early. And seeing me and him, I just show up like 5 hours early. They're like, what are you doing here? So Mr. Dalton wants to bring the scene forward, just let me know. And Gideon, the producer, nailed it after 2 times a day. He goes, nice one. And we were able to make those. That's what we're supposed to do. If you got a kid, you're experienced now. You got a kid start laughing if he's behaving the way you thought you were behaving at the beginning. You go, it's all right. We're doing good. What are you doing? Do it. I was in the middle of a scene. Michelle Gomez turned around to me once and goes, do what you did in the medium shot. I'm like, okay. We're there to help each other. Yeah. I was in the middle of a scene with Keith Carradine. He picked me up and moved me. He goes, it was so good, I thought it might as well be on camera. We're supposed to do this. We're supposed to do it. We're supposed to help. We're supposed to love it. And we're supposed to spread the love. How else do we learn?
So, question I've got for you that I'd like to know the answers to. Give me three favorite movies, Mark.
So, just depends what mood I'm in. But, I mean, I can tell you Mon Oncle, the Jacques Tati movie is always, that just came to mind, maybe because I was talking about it recently. I've never seen any part of The Godfather without continuing to watch it.
So that's number 2.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's. I mean, and Godfather 2 is a better film than Godfather, but there's so many, man. There's so many. I just went back and rewatched Jaws, which is a triumph.
Wow, God.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Jaws is incredible.
Such an amazingly. I mean, watching Robert Shaw, and then you go down deep diving down a Robert Shaw line, and you're going, oh my God. You go down Burton. I mean, Spy Came In From the Cold.
Yeah. You mentioned Equus earlier as well. That's he's phenomenal.
One of my favorite films. Not one of my favorite films. I mean, if you want a film that nobody knows that I think is incredible and pivotal to me, it's a film called The Offense.
Offense.
As in an offense.
Yeah.
And it's Sidney Lumet in England directing Sean Connery without an accent, which is insane, with his real accent, without his Sean Connery accent. Vivian Merchant, Ian Bannon, Trevor Howard. It's the most extraordinary film. It's one of my. I mean, this depends on mood I'm in. I mean, Aristocats is an amazing film. The original Jungle is an amazing film. There isn't anything I can't love. I mean, I remember one of my kids was like, years ago, was like, I want to see the Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 when they redid it. So watch the original. So pull out the Laserdisc, and the original is great. Tiny film. Flute.
Yeah.
Just thinking of it. But I really do think my period is Easy Riders to Raging Bulls, to quote there.
Yeah.
Easy Riders to Raging Bulls is where my film language is.
So is there a favorite director you have?
Anyone will hire me. I mean, I got to work with Jim Sheridan, which was magic. And I've worked with some of the best TV directors ever. Some wonderful guys. And I realized I don't get directed that much. I really don't. And with the auteur directors, it's just questions. Like, I don't think I ever got told what to do by any of the better directors. It was just giving me a space and a place, or asking me a question and then it just going into it.
Well, you're hired to not be told what to do. You're hired for your creativity. So, that's good.
I worked with this wonderful, wonderful actor called Katie Findlay with a D. And I love this person with all my heart. They're just fantastic. I went and did Walker Independence with her. She was executive produced by a mate of mine, but I didn't know what I was going to do. I was somebody from Battlestar was the showrunner, et cetera, whatever. Anyway, I came in to do maybe 1 or 2, and it became this really interesting relationship of theirs and mine. And one day I was in the trailer, and they were getting their pinholes put in and stuff, and the 1870s stuff. And I said, every time we do a scene, they turn around to you and go, amazing job or whatever. They don't say a fucking word to me. She goes, oh, Mark Sheppard, are you feeling underappreciated? I went, no, I just find it weird. And she goes, they're afraid of you. And I went, nobody's afraid of me. Katie said, I get to be right 3 times on every episode, and this is one of them. So I landed on set. And I hadn't been there for a couple of weeks. And everyone's laughing. Hey, Sheppard, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, great. I walked into our producing director and I said, am I undirectable? She needs to know.
You're so fucking mischievous, aren't you?
Everybody just cracked up laughing. And our director, who's a good friend of Spates as well, was like, 3 laughs, the whole deal went on. He goes, not on your second take. And I was like, great. And afterwards I was like, can I have a word with you? And he goes, were you offended by something? I said, God, no, I just want to talk to you. And I said, listen, I want to tell you something. I said, you didn't call me. I arrived a day early. I came down to set, watch what you were doing, introduce myself, let you say anything you want. I'm there to play. Came there a day early, went to set a day early.
Right.
You didn't discuss the piece with me. You didn't discuss the scene with me. You didn't discuss anything with me. You didn't workshop it with me. You never made a phone call. You didn't audition me. I was given this job. I said, so when I come to the set or stage, I got to come out swinging. That first take's mine. I'll do you the courtesy of giving you a rehearsal with rough for blocking for everything else. But it isn't coming alive until you call action. And said, after that, it's yours. That's me swinging for the fence. If he needs to come in, needs to go out. He goes, you do listen. And the thing of that is exactly what you said at the beginning of the conversation. Being afraid, which you should be afraid of everything. It's good. But being afraid to be as honest as you can be, being afraid you're going to be judged and pulled. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you actually just take that bat out, okay, swing for the fence, man. You can whiff or you can hit, but swing for the fence. Otherwise,
because that shows commitment, right? So, and if you love something enough, you're committed to it.
Yeah. But Bobby Pastorelli told me that. Robert Pastorelli was a wonderful actor. It was in his 1959 Bobbleback Cadillac going under bridge on the 101. That's about as Hollywood as I could ever tell you. And he found out that I just got in the name of the Father. I told him I just got in the name of the Father. And he goes, "You're nobody's Nepo kid. You're nobody's whatever. That's not the deal, dude." He goes, "You didn't fuck anybody to get this job. You didn't, this isn't a slam dunk for you. You got this job." He goes, "I know, Jim, you got this job because you're the best man for the job. So he can cast anybody he wants."
Yeah.
Okay. He goes, "So when he hands you the ball, and he will hand you the ball, you got two choices. You either look at it or you run with the ball."
Nice.
I never forgot it. And it just took that first fear away.
Yeah.
And there's moments in that I've told you about and stuff and whatever. But back in the day, there are magical things that happen with him. And I thought all films would be made like that, and they're not. So it's up to us to bring as much joy to that.
So is there a director or possibly even an actor that you would love to work with? Isn't one that you think if you think on it was a net one there, you go fucking yes.
Soderbergh. My mom always said I should work with Soderbergh.
Yeah.
My dad worked with Chris Nolan. I love Chris Nolan. I think he's extraordinary, and maybe the opportunity will arise. But no, anybody, because you can find the magic in anything if you're looking. I've worked with some fantastic, gorgeous actors. Like, I went to go do Doctor Who. I did not really know how good Matt was, but I really didn't know how good Arthur was. My God, Darville is a hell of an actor. He's extraordinary. And I walked into a set where they're all singing to each other between takes, and they're just loving me because I have no experience of shooting for the BBC. We're like, "Is there a craft service tape?" "No, we don't have one of those." "No, we don't have one of those." "Can I buy one?" "No, we don't do that." It's like, there's a girl come with a cup of tea and a biscuit about 11 o'clock. I'm like, okay. The girl comes around, she's got a Firefly tattoo on her ankle. She's all giggly. I'm like, oh my God, this is so much fun. But it was so new to me. I loved every minute of it. I'd have done it for free. It's the BBC. But there are things that you do with your heart, And that was an amazing experience. Matt was wonderful. Arthur was wonderful. I mean, Karen's lovely, absolutely lovely. But I didn't expect that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've got another question I'd like to sort of put your way. It's just one for our listeners, I guess. Who would play you in a movie?
That's awful.
If they were making a Mark Sheppard story, is there someone who would you cast? Who would you cast?
First of all, nobody believe it. It would have to be animated.
Cat Weasel.
I will tell you one little, Cat Weasel. I will tell you one very funny thing, and I've got to be careful how I say this, but if you ever go to Germany and you see your stuff on TV, it's all dubbed. It's always dubbed. It's really hard to get it in English subtitles. So if I'm in Germany doing something, I'm grasping for German comprehension at that point. And there's a guy that does my voice in everything I do in Germany.
You met him?
Yes. I was very polite. But
was he talking like you when you met?
I think he tried to, but I'm going, for God's sakes, I do not sound like that. I just don't. But I'm like, that's the thing. I'm just giving you the honest answer to who would play me. I'm like, I don't know what I am really, I get it.
Following from Nick's question then, is there a film out there or TV show that it could have been before you were born, but you wish you would love to have been part of?
Well, I was so close on doing so many things, and I could understand why I wasn't in them. But there's some wonderful stuff. I mean, I never watched Breaking Bad. I have a lot of friends who are in Breaking Bad, and I watched a bit of it. Just the timing was wrong. My wife watched it when it was out, waited for it, saw each thing. And
I had a meeting for it years ago. I had a meeting for it when it first came out.
Oh, wow. Really?
They looked at me for Hank, which is bizarre. I mean, Dean is so good in it. I can't imagine anybody else playing it, But there's a lot of good stuff in that. You would have been really interested. I thought Jesse Plemons' role in that is but I never saw it. I know I've got my friend Jim Beaver's in it. Everybody else is in it that I know. And the weird thing is, I didn't really watch it, but I had an idea of what was going on. Everybody saw it. And then I saw Giancarlo Esposito, and he was saying that watch Saul first. And I'm like, ooh.
Oh, that's a good.
And he said, we know who we are. We know who we are. We went back and made who we are. So I got to watch Better Call Saul with my buddy, beginning to end, and then watch Breaking Bad. So I know who Jimmy is. I know where Saul comes from. Mm-hmm. So I had an idea of what was going to happen. Yeah. I watched Vince and Peter build one of the greatest television shows I've ever seen in my life, where every day player was magic. Every minute was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Mike starts off, taking tickets at the booth and you're going, I think I know what happens to him, but how does that get from that to that? And I wish there were more of those.
Yeah.
And, you know, Band of Brothers, I remember watching Band of Brothers and going, this is a triumph of community. Forget about talent. Forget about the talent. Talent's a given. Writing's a given. Stories are given. The way it's shot is a given. But it's a triumph of community. It's every single person rowing, all rowing the way. You know, and that's very rare. It's very rare. I felt the same way about Black Hawk Down in some ways too. What?
Ozark.
Yeah, Ozark was really, really good.
Ozark for me, probably in the last 10 or 15 years, was the most complete in terms of the writing, the directing, the lighting, the styling. Everything was fucking flawless for me.
Well, because you're Welsh and you have a sense of romance, for God's sakes. That's what it's about. It dies over here because 90% of the people don't want to admit that they're not. We're number one. We're the winner. We're number one. We're the winner. It's a cultural phenomenon in this country. Go back and watch Tony Hancock's Half Hour, the working class guy with middle class and upper aspirations, and he's always wrong. You can't have Ricky Gervais's character in The Office. You can't have David Brent without that. You can't have David Brent without Alf Garnett. You can't have David Brent, and therefore, for David Brent is redeemable because he's not evil. Then you go the other way, which is what Coogan took Alan Partridge into, which is absolutely irredeemable, the most horrendous human being ever. If he could make it worse, he does. And that's the very British understanding of just how shit it is to be British. It's like that line in Trainspotting. It's shite being Scottish. Whole speech is like, okay, then get back on the train. This is the greatest gag I've ever seen. But we have an understanding of loss. We have an understanding of which makes, you know, back in the day, Cardiff Arms Park, there was an amazing moment. I want to talk about Welsh. I'll talk about Welsh for a minute. What I love about Welsh and the Welsh is I was watching, remember Paul Potts when he was doing Britain's Got Talent?
Yes.
Right? Yeah, it's gone back a while.
And they do that, and they did that long-winded start with, I work at Carphone Warehouse, and I'm doing this, and they do absolutely and jacked up teeth, and he's like, poor little thing. I mean, it's just like there's nothing there of any endearment, and they shot it so well. They made it look so mundane and boring. And I think it was in Cardiff. I don't think it was this one. It was in Cardiff, and it was in the old theatre. And he said, "What are you going to?" Simon Cowell's doing the pen thing, you know, bored out of his mind. He's like, "What are you going to sing?" And he goes, "Nissan Dorma." He's like, "Oh, great, off you go then." And he sings, and it's like, oh my God, right? Okay, that's interesting. Now let's add the Welsh aspect to it. You look at the audience, which is a bunch of handbag-carrying 50-year-old women, and they're singing the words to Nissan Dorma in Italian. And I'm going, oh my God, opera is not for the elite. I was literally watching people crying and singing the words, working class people singing the words in Italian, most of it. I was like, well, that tells you something about classical education, or the idea that some things are beautiful in life, whether you have money or not, and acting is a privilege. Working is a privilege in that context. Two types of jobs: the job you do so you can do the things you love, and the job you love. And you and me and him, even though I'm not looking at him because his face is.
Oh, I'm not an actor.
I know, but I'm saying, in general, doing the job that you love is a blessing, a joy, a gift, and should be honored and worshipped.
Paul Andrew Williams said the same thing a couple of podcasts ago, didn't he, Lates?
You did, yeah.
He said,
Who did?
He said Paul Andrew Williams is a fucking brilliant independent director. Actually, he's incredible. Look, I'll send you. He's fucking.
Tell him I want a job.
You'd love him. He said, and this really struck a chord with me. He said even the shittest job on a set is better than out in something.
And that's why going back to what we said, that's why it's your job to nip that shit in the bud if somebody's taking that away from somebody else. Nobody should be allowed to take that away from somebody else. Our job is to show up and smile, remember who's who. I got married to my wife while I was doing Supernatural, and we had to pick a date, and she said to me, she picked a date, and I said, well, that's great, but I'm not going to be there. because we're at a convention in blah, blah, blah. She said, well, when? So we picked a date, and it was during American Thanksgiving week, which in Canada, you always take that off so you don't have to pay the Americans a ridiculous sum of money. So the Canadians get that time off, American Thanksgiving, November 19th. And I said, look, my head had popped out my ass a few years before, and I never ate in my trailer. I always ate in the lunchroom. I had the wonderful joy of sharing my time with all the people that I work with. I wasn't an isolationist in any shape or form. I'm available. People can make fun of me anytime they want. If it's funny, it wins. Because it's a tough job. There's never enough time and money. And she goes, who are you going to invite? And I went, I like a lot of people. I think a lot of the people like me, but I don't know. I don't want to walk up to individuals and ask them and go, would you like to come to my way? I'm like, oh God, I couldn't take the rejection or the difficulty or the whatever, you know? She goes, invite everybody. I went, okay. So I walked on set and I said, I'm getting married. It was a massive cheer. That somebody was actually, finally found somebody stupid enough to marry me. And I said, you're all invited. Anyone wants to come. And at my wedding, I have a small family. My wife has a larger family. We had about 165 people that I work with. Painters, accountants, stars, made no difference at all.
Brilliant.
In black tie on their week off. Their destination.
Fucking brilliant.
That is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
It humbled me in a way that was just extraordinary. It was extraordinary. It was a great time. The band was so good we didn't get up to play. It was phenomenal. And my life wouldn't be the same without that. You know, I don't know.
Well,
we'll see.
We've had you on for quite a while here.
I know, yeah. Our longest one yet, Nick.
It is our longest one yet. And
It tells me off for talking a lot as well.
Do, yeah. I'm terrible. Sometimes if someone's having a really good moment, I'm so impulsive, and I get so excited to find next. Shut up! Just hold the whole fire. Right. So forgive me for that. So I don't want to keep Mark. I don't want to keep you too long. I want to continue catching up. You.
We will.
You know, I've missed you. Do you have anything that's burning you and you want to know?
You know, you asked a couple of my questions, Nick, or the ones I was going to ask, and that's why sort of that deviation of what show we'd like to work on. I mean, Mark, you talk for, you could, you just went, it's just incredible listening to you. What do you do for fun?
It's different. I mean, I have a studio. My oldest son is a record producer, writer. He did the last 2 Miley Cyrus albums. That's not his typical music, but he wrote and produced and played on last 2 Miley Cyrus records. So he's doing that. My middle child's about to go up to Canada. He's a chef, and he worked in Providence. They went from 2 to 3 Michelin stars. So he's got a good setup for himself.
Wow.
My 10-year-old's wasting her time, as she does. She hasn't got a job or anything.
You're what?
My 10-year-old.
Hasn't she got a job?
Nah, fuck it. I enjoy my people. I really do. I'm in an interesting phase. I've got a lot of conventions this year to keep us above water. Work has been really weird. Really weird. Close on so many things and not working a lot, which is odd for me. It's really odd. I'm usually doing something where we're just not making those sort of things anymore. And that'll change. But I'm just showing up and suiting up and trying to have fun.
Yeah.
My wife has had a ridiculous amount of back surgeries and all sorts of stuff going on. She was just in hospital for a couple of days, and she's out. She's doing better. But we travel and we live well, and I've got good friends, and I get to talk to people who I love. Even never forgot you, man. Never forgot that day. I can even see the color of the light in that diner. You know what's funny? You see the Equalizer movie? Equalizer.
I know I remember the TV show.
No, he did. Denzel did the movie.
No, I haven't seen it.
1, 2, 3. But he's in a diner, and it's lit like the thing. I always think of us in that diner, in that booth. When I see that, it's a funny image. But as I said, we love what we do. Spate, I love with all my heart, and he's a lovely catalyst for a lot of people. He's a good
guy. He's a good guy.
A good man, and I love playing with him. I play live with him. I'll be playing with him in New York next month. So that's fun. Love his music. Love his energy. He's directed me a couple of times, which is a lot of fun too. So we have fun doing that. Yeah. I mean, what do I do? I go play. As I said, I play, I make, hang out with my kids. My oldest just moved out, and the other one's just about to leave. So we're redecorating and doing all that fun stuff. My life's boring at 62.
Lates, what'd you say?
I said, no, it's incredible to see. Yeah, you've had quite a life, and just you're enjoying life now as well. And no,
I, I'd love to live in England. I'd love to live in Wales. I'd love to live in England. I'd love to live in Ireland, especially. But I could not make a living there.
Yeah, it's tough right now. I think it's quite tough here right now.
Tough here too.
So before we let you go,
Yeah.
my kids, I'm gonna keep. We're gonna keep in touch. We're gonna keep in touch on a personal level now that I've kind of found you. So the last thing for me, my last question is: you got one chance at this, right?
I bet a few.
No. Keep fucking time. So, what's the karaoke song we're going out on?
I never have, never will, ever appreciate karaoke apart from for other people.
Okay, so let's say
The idea of hell.
this is it. This is good. This is what.
If I wanted to screw you over so badly, it'd be Sweet Caroline, because I've heard that sung so badly by so many people over the years. But if I'm going to have a nod to Supernatural, it's got to be Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas.
great song, absolutely superb song.
Played that many times.
So when you sing it, are you murdering it, or are you?
I don't. I won't.
Is it bubble?
See, that's what I love about you lot that I've worked with, is that you have that silly gene. It takes a little bit to get the silly gene out of me. You know what I mean? And because I don't have the aid of alcohol, I can't just sort of go, I'll belt out Living on a Prayer at top. It just grinds me so badly. I'm so OCD and I'm a little on the spectrum that out of tune singing just jars me. I love the fact that people love it. Does that make sense?
Yes, but also there's nothing worse than going into a karaoke place and have someone being amazing and tip top. Oh, I can.
You know what the worst thing in karaoke is? I was doing a movie in New Jersey with a bunch of Sopranos guys and stuff. And Steve Shanti was there. He's a good, great actor. And they're all, half these guys are Broadway guys, right? And we were in this truck stop in Paulsboro on the turnpike. And it is rough in a bar that's fully black lit and black walls and black lighting and girls with the hair, white rain hairspray, you know, the whole deal. And we're going to get killed. It's Friday night and it's karaoke. And I'm like, we're going to die in this place. This is not a good place to be. I sent Steve Shanti out to sing Sweet Caroline and he sang it perfectly. And all there was silence at the end, because you never want to hear karaoke sung perfectly. Once on the record, what's the point?
Exactly. There's nothing worse than so. I like to sing and I love karaoke, but every time I get talked into doing it, and it takes a lot for people to talk me into doing it, but then I've got a dilemma going. I want to sing this really well, but if you sing it too well, people are going to be calling you a wanker.
Yes.
Because you're showing off, right?
Yeah, if it's too measured, I love it for other people. To me, it's my idea of absolute hell, and I adore people who love doing it. And I'm proud of the people that can't sing a note and put their whole heart into it. Because fuck you if you can't take a joke. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Lates, I'm pretty.
Yeah, I've got hot dogs for tea as well, so I've got to get and have that. That's a Twin Town reference if you've ever seen that. But actually, I've got hot dogs for tea. But no, I think for me next.
Hot dogs for tea, boys.
Better than train spotting. I'm just going to say that. Better than train spotting. That's a whole other conversation.
Mark, it's been an absolute joy for me. And I'm sure everyone's going to love listening to this.
Maybe not. You never know.
No, they will. They will. You've had such an incredible career. You're such a lovely bloke, and you deserve all the success. You know, and you deserve to come 50.
If there's anything I ever wanted to say, is for God's sakes, don't let anybody take away what you love and what you care about and what you have affection for and what you think is magic. People belittle it and push it and knock your confidence or start to take things from you. It's just shite, and it's our job to without question to facilitate joy.
Yes,
because that's what magic is. It's when it doesn't matter whether it's Thorpe Park or on stage, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The way it goes. So if anybody's watching this and thinking about ever making the stupid move to try to do this for a living, you better love it. You better catch it every turn.
I mean, that's a good one to end on.
No, thank you for your time, Mark.
All right, man.
I'm going to say goodnight. Mark, I'll be in touch because
You will.
All
All the best.
Thanks, Mark. Cheers.
All the best, guys.
Bye.
Lots of love.